Well, hello, friends. Welcome back to Commute Talk. Today, I thought I would answer a submitted question. So, Modestus writes in asking about how do I stay focused? Because I must be programming all the time, right? And I don't even listen to music. What's up with that? And then he also asks, what are my or some YouTubers or tech channels, bloggers that I like or follow, and that I can't say Biscuit because everybody likes Biscuit, obviously. So yeah, so about focus, it's something that's like I struggle with focus. I definitely do, especially when I'm being told what to do, for work. But I struggle to focus on my own things too sometimes. So I don't want to pretend like I have the magic trick. But I lived with myself for long enough that I know some tricks that work on me. So I guess you mentioned music, so that's one of the main things that I have to be concerned about, because I'm very, very distracted by music, especially music with words. So, because if I hear someone singing, then my brain just starts listening to the voice and like tries to listen to what the voice is saying, and it's like it occupies the language center or whatever in my brain, and it takes away from my ability to focus on what I'm trying to do. So I just try to stay out of music when I'm programming. But if I do listen to anything, then it would be electronic or instrumental music. Just to avoid the words and the voices. Yeah, and like obviously then I also prefer to be in quiet spaces or muffled spaces where I don't have to hear people talking. I do quite like the sound of other people typing on keyboards, and that's something I appreciate about my workplace right now, is that I'm sitting around all these other people who are also just programming, and you just hear the tap, 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 and then like the frustrated scrolling through documentation and whatnot. And I think that's quite a pleasant sound, and I don't mind that. And then another thing that works against me, unless I work against it, is food and hunger. So I'm very, very prone to suddenly thinking that it's a great idea to get a snack. So then I go get a snack, and then 5 minutes later I want a new snack, and then I want a new snack, and it keeps going like that. And eventually I'm really full and bloated, and like it just knocks me out, sort of, and I put myself in a food coma. So, and the same thing goes for like eating a big meal, like a big lunch. I can't work after I eat myself full. So I try to never be full, basically, while I'm working. So instead, I just space out these small meals. I space them out maybe like every 3.5 hours. I eat something small, and then I always track what I eat. And just to make sure that I'm getting enough of everything, and that I'm not eating garbage. Yeah, so that's something that like allows me to stay at a steady level of alertness throughout the day, rather than this typical thing, where you have breakfast, big breakfast, and you go to work, and then eventually you start to get a little tired, and then you eat something sweet, and you spike up, and like you're going like up and down all the day. I don't like living like that, so I actively work against it by spacing out my meals and trying to eat like high protein instead of high carb. It makes a huge difference for me. I'm not sure that it would for everyone, but for me, that's something that I've definitely concluded is a huge factor in my ability to focus and my ability to sustain energy throughout the day. And then another thing that I do is at the midpoint of the day, like at lunchtime, I go out and get some kind of exercise. So if I'm at work, then that means that I go out for a walk, or I go to the little company fitness room and I go for a treadmill run, or do some exercise in there, basically. Just 15-20 minutes of moderate exercise, and then go take a shower. And I find that really acts as a reset on my body, and it's like going back to the way I felt after having breakfast. And you can't put a price on that shit. Like that's some really, really good stuff. Like, because if I don't do that, then it's just a downward slope for the rest of the day. But pressing that reset button allows me to keep going easily until 4 or 5 before I start to, or let's say 3 or 4 before I start to go downwards again. And that's really nice. But I guess it's less about focus and more about energy, I guess. But it's still something that I do to keep myself going, because in my case, like, work is just part of my day, and then when I get home, I want to be able to get to work on my own projects, like and work on my operating system and record videos and stuff. And I can't be like all tired and fatigued from work at that point. Like, I have to I don't know, like I have to find a way to make my energy last the whole day. And I guess what I've been describing here is sort of the main things that I do to ensure that I can keep going from 6 in the morning till 9, 10 at night, without too much issue. And every day is not perfect, right? There are days when I'm more tired than others, but this system that I have, it works surprisingly well, I have to say. But of course, I'm definitely still working on these things, and I suspect I'll be doing it for the rest of my life. So I'm always super interested in hearing other people's solutions to these things, or like tricks that they do on themselves for focus and energy. So if you have some good tips, then please let me know, because I'm very willing to experiment in this area. Like, I've done a lot of experimentation, and I'm happy to do more. Like, I'm always interested in discovering ways to optimize my energy and focus levels. Yeah. So, but then also, I guess I should talk about programming, because this was like all physical stuff, basically. So when it comes to the programming part, I try to always harness my inner obsessive drive for things, especially in my personal projects. And what I mean by that is that if I feel like the urge to work on something in my operating system, then I'm probably going to go work on that, because I would rather ride the urge wave than try to like coerce myself or coerce my urge into doing some other thing when it really wants to do this. I think harnessing your obsession is one way that you can get a lot of value out of it, if you know what I mean. You just have to be sure that your obsession isn't like complete pointless bullshit. But if you have a wide range of obsession like I do, then you can usually find something in there that you have enough obsession points in to be able to turn it into a productive hacking session that produces something useful. But yeah, so that's definitely a way that I keep focus. And then I will say also that when it comes to work tasks, or like tasks that I'm doing for someone else, then it's a little thing, but I always try to remind myself that, like, well, if I'm going to do something, I might as well do it properly. Like, why half-ass something? Like, why not try and do the best that I can? Because it's just silly. Like, why not? I don't know. I used to struggle with this a whole lot, and I find that the more I try to center myself around this idea of like, if I'm going to do it anyway, I might as well do a good job of it. It's really stuck with me. It's really stuck with me, and it's really working on me, I think. So that's, I guess these are some thoughts that I have about focus and energy. It's an interesting subject, so I'm glad you brought it up. Of course, I one final note there. I also do drink a lot of tea. I don't drink coffee or Pepsi Max anymore. I used to be a fiend for Pepsi Max, but I had to let a lot of things go. But I do drink tea, and I try to make 2 cups of tea every time I go, or one really big one, to like prolong the time before I have to go and make more tea. It's a little thing, but if it means that I get up one time less than I would otherwise, that's really good. Of course, that doesn't account for bathroom breaks, but that's a whole other issue. So, anyways, and then the second question was about which, I guess, like tech channels and blogs that I like or follow, except Biscuit, because everyone loves Biscuit. And I gotta say, man, I love Biscuit. Like, he makes just awesome content, and he is unapologetic about being himself and like liking the things that he likes, and I have tremendous respect for that. He seems like such a cool dude. And I really enjoy when he shows his real process in streams, not just like the tool-assisted speedruns of programming that he uploads, but like he also streams. Like, I was watching him make a terminal emulator a while back, which was kind of enjoyable because I've also been working on terminal emulator. So it's nice to see him do that. But yeah, I love Biscuit. He's great. And then I like watching Jonathan Blow sometimes. He's certainly a blow hard, but and I disagree with him like fundamentally about programming and C++ and object orientation and everything. But the guy, he puts his money where his mouth is, and I have respect for that. And he shows his process, and he speaks from the heart, and he says what he thinks. And he's clearly a smart guy, and he clearly knows what he's doing, even though it's not what I would do. I still enjoy watching him do it. So yeah, I do like him. And I guess I would say that I like these channels where people show the real process of things. So it's nice to watch on Twitch. Sometimes I go and I watch this guy named Tsoding. He makes these like little low-level hack projects. Like a while ago, I watched him. He was doing a breakout game in a boot sector, I think it was. It's just like nice, clean assembly programming, enjoyable. With frustrations that come along with that. I like that. I like that type of stuff. I wish there would be more of it, I guess. It's certainly what I'm trying to do myself. I'm trying to show like real programming, and because I think the internet has more than enough of like these pompous gurus who try to tell you how you should do things and give you all this advice and like 9 best tips for making money with your website in whatever C++. I don't fucking know. That didn't even make any sense. But you know, like these clickbaity channels that had some guy like with a gaping mouth in the thumbnail and some large text about 5 reasons you should use. I don't know. I don't even know. I don't even know how to generate these things in my head. But I don't like those types of things. Like they're just I don't know. There's something really slimy and disgusting about that type of content. So I don't like that. And I always try to tell YouTube like stop showing me this. And in the end, like I told YouTube like I don't know 50 times that like I'm not interested in this. Like anytime a channel like that comes up, and it just keeps showing it to me anyway. I don't know what the hell is up with that. So, but I finally figured out that if I block them, like as a user, like for like this thing that you would use if someone is bothering you, I guess, I mean, I don't say that they're bothering me. I just use that feature and say block. Now they finally go away, and I don't have to see their stupid gaping mouths with their stupid large text. Anyways, I guess I'm trying to think, who else do I like? I do like this guy named what's his name, Javid9X or something like that, JavidX9. He makes these little tutorials like how to make XYZ game, like how to make Asteroids or how to make Tetris, how to make a GTA 1 style games. And yeah, they're like obviously kind of scripted or choreographed or whatever, but he still shows how to do something in C++, and I think he does a good job of it. So I like watching him sometimes. And then there's a guy named what's his name? Inigo Quiles, I think, who makes these little shader toys. And he just makes these absolutely beautiful mathematical shaders that render just amazing things. I like watching him just for fun. Like I don't know how to program shaders, so I just look at those and I think, wow, that's cool. And there's also a channel called Retro Game Mechanics Explained, and it's this guy who, I guess he's like reverse engineers old Nintendo games and stuff, and figures out how some little tiny aspect of it works, and then explains it in a very good presentation way. I like that. I like that channel. I don't know why. I guess because I just have like all these fond memories of playing these games, and hearing someone explain these tiny little details about them is just interesting. But yeah, I would definitely like to. I would like to know more content, or know about more content where someone is just showing their process and actually building something. And I guess I would really like to see more people building large things, because that's the kind of thing that I'm interested in. So, and I guess that's what I like about John Blow. Like, he's building something big. Then there's this guy who's building the Zig language, Andrew Kelly, and he posts like these long hack sessions sometimes. That's cool. Although I don't really care for his language, but I appreciate his hacking sessions because he's also like showing the real thing. So, I props for that. And then I guess when it comes to like regular blogs, I don't know. I don't read a lot of blogs these days. I guess sometimes I go and check in with Raymond Chen at Microsoft, the old new thing. I always thought that was a fun blog. And back when I was a young whippersnapper, I would read Joel on Software, but I haven't been there in many, many years. I don't read so many blogs. The thing that I read more is actually Git logs. Like, I follow some projects and I just periodically pull and just read the commits that they've been doing since last time. I'm going to try to skim through them. I guess that's my blogs. So I read the WebKit commits occasionally, and sometimes I read the Qt commit logs, and I've read the LLVM commit logs sometimes. I don't know what to recommend. Probably is not super entertaining to everyone. It's just something that I got really into doing. I like to look at what people are actually doing. I guess that's the main theme here, is that I like to see what people are actually doing, not what they how they posture about it. So yeah, I'm running out of steam here, so I'm just gonna stop talking. So thanks for hanging out with me on the commute, and for sending in this question. It was a good question, so thank you. And please do recommend me if you know about any channels where they show the process of programming, especially if it's a big system. or game or compiler, stuff like that, I would like to hear about it. Or especially if you're doing it yourself. Anyways, thanks for hanging out with me on the commute, and I will see you next time. Bye.